back, man, with another one, man. We back with another one, man. And we're gonna get right into it.
Just a few blocks from the ocean is a little two-bedroom apartment, a new home for 25-year-old Corey Parker. On the day after Thanksgiving in 1998, one of Corey's co-workers stops by to check on her.
She didn't show up, which is definitely not like her. But he went and checked the windows at that point and did go to her bedroom window, and he was able to lift it a little bit. And he saw her foot covered in blood.
I was sitting at home on my off day, and I received a call from our dispatch that they needed for me to respond and assist on a homicide scene. I walked in. It was a two-bedroom apartment. The first bedroom on the right was the victim's bedroom, and as you looked in, you could see a female body laying on the bed, kind of scrunched up back in the corner, totally covered in blood.
She had 101 stab wounds. The fatal wounds were in this area. She had one gaping wound on each side of her neck with multiple other stab wounds.
At autopsy, the medical examiner discovers that more than half of the wounds were inflicted after death.
It's almost like whoever's doing this is playing with the victim.
In 1998, Lou Iliopoulos is an investigator with the Duval County Medical Examiner.
101 stab wounds, man. Damn, bro. 101, damn, bro.
Although no semen is recovered from the body, Iliopoulos believes the post-mortem mutilation speaks to a sexual motive. Iliopoulos tells detectives to look for someone with a history of sex crimes, perhaps someone in the neighborhood who knew Corey came home alone late at night. Back at the apartment, Jim Schott searches for trace evidence and finds what appears to be a strand of human hair near the victim's body. Then Schott moves to the suspected point of entry, an open kitchen window.
The windowsill, as you go out to the outside, had blood on it, on the outside of the windowsill, and it appeared like there was a small little area of blood in the kitchen cabinet area. The spot on the inside was probably the size of my fingertip, my little fingertip. The outside was just like somebody had actually taken their fingers in blood and just placed them down.
Schott scrapes the blood and sends it to the state crime lab. Initial tests indicate that the blood does not belong to Corey Parker. While a full DNA profile is being worked up, detectives hit the streets looking for someone who wanted Corey Parker dead.
We decided to put a poster together and also conduct some news interviews to possibly elicit some information from the public.
The posters go up. A media blitz ensues.
Shocking new details.
And the plan works. A local woman named Julie Sedgwick walks into the office of Assistant State Attorney Angela Corey.
I mean, we didn't know if he had done it or not. We just thought we had information that could be pertinent.
He is Robert Eric Denney, an ex-dishwasher at the restaurant where Julie Sedgwick worked. In the days after the murder, Denney was often absent, and then suddenly skipped town. The DA's office does a little checking and begins to connect the dots between Robert Denney and Corey Parker.
We start learning that he had lived in the apartment directly behind her and had the clearest view because his bedroom looked right down onto Corey's apartment. I don't think you ever overlook the physical evidence.
The DA assembles a team of investigators to background Denney.
That was one of the initial things that we had for a red flag.
They get some of their best information from the suspect's sister.
She had kicked him out of her apartment because she woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and he was standing over her watching her sleep. And she just was creeped out over that. And
In fact, the team learns that the Denney family is the picture of dysfunction.
Showed up in trial.
The man was standing over his sister watching her sleep? What the fuck?
She said, yeah, she had another brother that had stabbed a woman to death in Texas at the age of 15. He was serving a life sentence in Texas for that murder.
he was a newspaper boy and had gone in to collect money. And as the young lady, and I think she was like 27, as she turned around to get her money, she turned back around and he just started stabbing her for no reasons. I think he stabbed her 106 times, Billy?
It was 97 times, and when she went to get her purse to get her money to pay him for the paper money that she owed him, he locked the door behind him and turned and attacked her and killed her.
And Billy had said that that was his greatest hero. Robert, growing up, was his greatest hero. And so now it's hard to make sense in terms of the stab wounds, the multiple stab wounds, and drawing
What
that,
the
maybe
fuck?
this was something.
So his older brother did the same shit when he was 15 years old? What the fuck is going on in their fucking family?
Trying to imitate his brother.
Hey, have you ever been?
The theory plays well in a police bull session and gets the investigative juices flowing.
We agreed that this was a viable suspect. The fact that we had physical evidence for comparison, we needed to make a plan to go after Robert Denney.
Denney now lives in a small town in Maryland.
Damn.
Before the Florida detectives book a flight, there's one more thing they need to do.
We want to formulate some type of a plan that will allow us to get his DNA without him.
The fact that he did the same, like the fact that his brother did some shit like that when he was 15 years old, his older brother, and he started to look at his brother as a hero for that. Bro, we need to find out where they from, what schools they went to, all that. We need that them type of people right there. You gotta find out how they grew up, what type of movies they watched, all that.
Knowing that he's a suspect.
That shit is wild. So we gonna definitely have to do his brother after this one.
In the murder case that we know about him in Jacksonville.
The team's plan is ambitious. They make up a story about a fictitious crime spree and bring Denney in for questioning. Secure in the knowledge he is innocent, Denney should be at ease, and police hope willing to provide a sample of his DNA. Robert Denney is given the once-over by detectives, then asked to provide a saliva sample for DNA testing.
Well, with that, you can start to see the body language. When they started mentioning DNA, he just started crossing his arms and backing away from the investigator.
Denney declines to give a sample for DNA testing. In a parking lot behind a strip mall, cold case detectives watch a 19-year-old murder suspect on a smoke break.
He was kind of on edge and stuff like that. He would come out, the place just behind us smoking.
This 2 years after the murder. He was 19, so he was 17 when he did this. His brother did it when he was 15. What the fuck is in their water? What the fuck makes his brother kill at 15, and then he looks at his brother as a hero, and he turn around and kill at 17, and they decide to kill women and stab them hundreds of times? Like, what the fuck?
Cigarettes and pacing back and forth, looking over his shoulder.
The next day, a team of detectives again trails Denney around town. This time, however, the suspect makes a mistake, and the detective's luck takes a turn for the better.
We noticed he was very nervous, and one of the investigators in the surveillance van noticed through a pair of binoculars that Robert Denney was spitting on the ground. And in fact, we recorded that he spit 6 or 7 times and noted the location where the spit fell.
Everybody was so excited and happy that he made such a blunder that We couldn't wait till he pulled out.
It just seems awfully funny that, or not funny, but kind of odd that at the end of the day, for him to come out and do that, it was almost like a godsend.
Robert Eric Denney's spit may very well hold the key to a cold case of murder. It is swabbed off the pavement, packaged, and sent to a DNA lab for testing.
And basically, I just obtained a full DNA profile that matched Eric Denney for every DNA location that we test for.
The blood match is confirmed when hair samples found at the scene are also genetically linked to Denney. Detectives want to arrest the suspect immediately. Assistant State Attorney Angela Corey tells them to wait.
Damn. They used that man's spit off the ground. Damn.
Said, you're not getting a warrant. And they wanted one desperately. And I said, we're not doing a warrant until you get a denial from Robert Denney.
Corey wants a statement from Robert Denney. Ideally, one where he denies knowing Corey Parker or ever being in her apartment. There's one problem: how to get Robert Denney, a young man very much on edge, to open up and talk.
We didn't want to scare him. We didn't want Joe Friday to go on his door, knock on his door.
The cold case team doesn't want Joe Friday. Instead, they send in a female version of Columbo.
Hi, Robert Denney. My name's Katie Kingston. How to do? This will only take a couple minutes. I need to run a couple questions by you.
Detective Katie Kingston puts on a wire and knocks on the door of a 2-story house in the suburbs. It's where 19-year-old Robert Denney lives with a 49-year-old woman he met on the internet.
I decided that I was going to be a person that was a silly type Southern female who just had little odd men jobs to do in the detective division. Do you know Corey Parker or ever talk to her? Show picture. That's Corey Parker. No. Did you ever go to her apartment? You never went to her apartment? No. I could hardly contain myself. I was thrilled because I knew that was going to nail it for us.
Kingston's play dumb routine works, as Denney's statement gives him no way to explain away his DNA found inside Corey Parker's apartment.
Hold on, let me rewind that, man. I ain't even hear it, man. I gotta rewind that. I'm sorry, I got
to be a person that was a silly type Southern female who just had little odd men jobs to do in the detective division. Do you know Corey Parker or ever talk to her? Show picture. That's Corey Parker. No. Did you ever go to her apartment? You never went to her apartment? No. I could hardly contain myself. I was thrilled because I knew that was going to nail it for us.
Kingston's play dumb routine works, as Denney's statement gives him no way to explain away his DNA found inside Corey Parker's apartment.
For real.
3 hours after Kingston leaves, police return to the suspect's home, this time with an arrest warrant.
Robert, what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to advise you of your constitutional right, okay? Listen to me. Are you able to? Okay, sure. Sorry. That's
I gotta show y'all here real fast, man. Look at it.
Inside a police squadron, Robert Denney's world begins to crumble.
Yeah, man. You can't take it now.
Rests mainly on DNA
when
evidence.
you doing all that shit, though.
Blood in the victim's kitchen matches Robert Denney, as do hairs found on Corey Parker's body.
I've been doing murder cases for a long time. I don't see a 17-year-old boy who no witness ever suggested the two of them had exchanged so much as a hi, or how are you, getting up in the middle of the night, going next door and finding unerringly the only unlocked window in the neighbor's apartment, crawling in and stabbing this person 101 times.
In the third week of his trial, the defendant takes the stand.
Miss Corey, I didn't kill Corey Parker.
How did your forcibly removed hair get on her bloody, rolled up underwear next to her body?
I don't know.
Never denied it was his DNA, and on cross-examination, never came up with an explanation for it. His exact words were, "I don't know." In fact, I think I called him Mr. I Don't Know in my closing argument.
On April 28th, the jury is sequestered in a conference room to decide Robert Denney's fate.
Members of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree as charged in the indictment. We, the jury, further find that the killing was done with premeditation.
Robert Denney is sentenced to life in a Florida prison without the possibility of parole.
Man, that shit wild, man. That shit crazy, man. Another neighbor, man. Watch your neighbors, man. Like, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit, man.